Welcome to a series called The End of Times, where we're going through the book of Revelation verse by verse to see what it is we should expect to happen and what it is we should be doing in the end times, or the time Jesus refers to as the end of the age. And where we are in the book of Revelation is we've gotten to chapter 15, keeping in mind that John is in the throne room of God witnessing these things, and he sees that the temple of the tabernacle of the testimony has been opened and that it is filling with smoke. And there are four living creatures about to give bowls of the final wrath and the final plagues of God. And that's where we're going to pick it up where we left off. There is Revelation 15, and we'll pick it up in 5. After these things I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of testimony in heaven was opened. Now the temple came the seven angels, having the seven plagues, clothed in pure bright linen, and having their chests girded with golden bands. Then one of the four living creatures gave to the seven angels 7 golden bowls full of the wrath of God, who lives forever and ever. The temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power, and no one was able to enter the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were completed. Now, last time we talked specifically about what is this temple of testimony there in heaven. What is this, and why is it so important, and why is this final wrath and these plagues coming from this place? And this time what we're going to talk about specifically is the four living creatures, what their role is in this, as well as why is the temple filling with smoke? What is happening with the smoke? So that's what we're going to focus on this episode. Now, we did an episode on the four living creatures because we saw them originally at the very beginning of Revelation, in Revelation 4, when we're given the first glimpse of the throne room of God. And we did an episode on that. That is episode 17. Check that one out to give the great detail of what these four living creatures are. But the short of it is we can see them in Ezekiel as well, and what they are four living creatures with four faces. They face they're omnidirectional, and they face into the throne of God. They're kind of like almost a part of the throne of God. They're constantly worshiping. They never stop worshiping. Their eyes are everywhere. They can see everything everywhere. Everywhere the Spirit goes, they go. Everywhere the throne of God goes, they go. It's a very significant thing, these four living creatures. They are literally part of the throne of God. And they are living creatures. Now, as we kind of look at them, we're going to go back to Ezekiel to address what are they doing here? Like what is it that they're giving these angels here? So we're going to go back to Ezekiel, where Ezekiel was essentially alive during a time when the besiegement of Jerusalem was taking place. Ezekiel was one of the first to be led off to Babylon, and as he's in Babylon, he has these visions of these four living creatures. And we're just going to pick it up there in Ezekiel 1, where Ezekiel sees these four living creatures, and when he sees God on his throne, he says this: "And above the firmament, above the heads, was the likeness of a throne in appearance like a sapphire stone, and on the likeness of the throne was a likeness with the appearance of a man high above it. Also from the appearance of his waist and upward I saw, as it were, the color of amber, with the appearance of fire all around from within it. And from the appearance of his waist and downward I saw, as it were, the appearance of fire with brightness all around. Like the appearance of a rainbow in a cloud on a rainy day, so was the appearance of the brightness all around it. This was the appearance of the likeness of the glory of the Lord." Now, just like Revelation just said, that the temple was filled with the smoke from the glory of the Lord. This is very important. Like, this is the glory of the Lord that we're witnessing here. It's literally smoke filling the temple from the glory of the Lord. So this wrath, this final wrath, and these final plagues are literally coming from the creatures being fed by the glory of the Lord. Now, what we see, and then what Ezekiel saw, let's just talk about that for a second. What he saw, these four living creatures, he had a few more visions of them, and he saw them above the temple of God in Jerusalem. So these four living creatures are above the temple of God in Jerusalem. In Revelation, they're above the temple of the testimony in heaven. But what Ezekiel sees is these creatures, they leave the temple. They physically leave it, because then that God is left. He has left Jerusalem. He has left the temple. Wherever the Spirit goes, they go. And this now it's appearing to Ezekiel in Babylon. So now they're they're in now the Spirit and the glory of the Lord is in Babylon. Now, what does this mean? Well, essentially what took place is Jeremiah, Ezekiel, Daniel, Isaiah all talked about how God's going to leave Jerusalem and he's going to go with those being led off to captivity. He's going to be with those being led off into Babylon. So he was with Daniel, he's with Ezekiel, he's with all those people, flourishing them, making them thrive and growing them. So now, wherever that Spirit goes, that is what is taking place. And then now what we see in Revelation is the glory of the Lord and those four living creatures. They're filling the temple with smoke to feed the final plagues of the final wrath of God. Now, okay, well, what about this smoke? Like, why does God smoke like this? Well, there's a couple different reasons he will. First of all, in Psalm 104, we can see in verse 31, may the glory of the Lord endure forever. May the Lord rejoice in his works. He looks on the earth and it trembles. He touches the hills and they smoke. I will sing to the Lord as long as I live. I will sing praise to my God while I have my being. May my meditation be sweet to him. I will be glad in the Lord. May sinners be consumed from the earth and the wicked be no more. Bless the Lord, O my soul. Praise the Lord. It's a cleansing. His smoke is a cleansing, but it's not just a cleansing. It also is the finality of the warring of the saints. It's a finality of war. It's God showing that he fights for the warriors who stand up for him. And we see that if we go to Psalm 144, starting verse 1. Blessed be the Lord my rock, who trains my hands for war and my fingers for battle. My loving kindness and my fortress, my high tower, my deliverer, my shield and the one in whom I take refuge, who subdues my people under me. Lord, what is man, that you take knowledge of him, or the son of man, that you are mindful of him? Man is like a breath, his days are like a passing shadow. Bow down your heavens, O Lord, and come down, touch the mountains, and they shall smoke. So now what we're seeing if we kind of just take everything, which is, God smokes because it's his glory. His glory rips like a fire. And God smokes when he is fighting for people, when he is ready to commit justice on the earth. He smokes. When we see these four living creatures, wherever they're going, that's where God is. Like, they're on the throne. They move around. Wherever God goes, that's where they're going. Now, if we go back to Revelation and we take a look, after these things I looked, and behold, the temple of the tabernacle of testimony in heaven was open, and out of the temple came the seven angels, having the seven plagues, clothed in pure bright linen, and having their chests girded with golden bands. Then one of the four living creatures gave to the seven angels 7 golden bowls full of the wrath of God who lives forever and ever. The temple was filled with smoke from the glory of God and from his power. And no one was able to enter the temple till the 7 plagues of the 7 angels were completed. And I just kind of want to remind you, like I said in the last episode, as we jump to the very first bowl of the malignant sores, that these are for those marked by the beast, or those who worship his name or his number. These are not for us. It's not necessarily good news, but it is as if the cavalry has arrived, and now we get to watch the hand of God commit justice on the earth. He fights for us. This is the part of the training our hands for war and our fingers for battle, because this is how God does for us. So I hope these videos are helping. I'd love to hear your thoughts or comments on any of this. Put them below. If you like this video, click like and subscribe. Feel called to support this channel with the Patreon. That link is also below. But the most important part of this channel is we take prayer requests, so never hesitate to send that in. Thank you for watching this episode of God, Family, and Guns. And as always, love God, love your family, and love guns.